I feel this is kind of my fault. Because I should have checked Sage Steele a long time ago. I should have checked her a year ago. Now, Sage Steele, for those who don't know, is an ESPN sports columnist. Well, I won't even call her a columnist. Let's just say she's the host and she's co-anchoring NBA Countdown. Once you've seen her face, you're going to realize, okay, I've seen her on television before. Okay. Now, she first got everyone's attention last year, of course, with her with her national anthem take against Mike Evans for taking a knee during the Colin Kaepernick situation. Now, she's supposed to be dealing with sports, of course, so she comes out taking a position against an athlete. Something that she shouldn't have probably done. But she put out a picture of a man kneeling at a dead soldier's gravesite and thought that would be a great idea to put up against Mike Evans. And that started a chain fire that was going around the entire social media, because people would say, why would she do that? Why would you choose a dead soldier to try to get your point across? So this led to a backlash that was so brutal to her career. Like, she's never felt like had all these black people come. You asked for it. You did that. And then you want to turn around and play the victim card. Why is everyone attacking me because I'm biracial? No. And this is what kills me about people like Sage Stewart. Unfortunately, there are some biracial people who think exactly like this. I've seen this so many times. You would not believe how delusional they are. Those some that I'm talking about. They are so lost, they have no clue as to what in the world they're even talking about. They think that they're looked at in an entirely different light as everyone else, and their cause or whatever is so important, but they're colorblind. Now, this comes on the heels of her statement yesterday talking about, I have experienced worse racism experienced is from black people. See? The worst racism I have received as a biracial woman married to a white man, and I mean thousands and thousands over the years, is from black people who in my mind thought would be the most accepting because they have been through that experience. But even as recent as the last couple of weeks, the words that have been thrown at me, I can't repeat here. And it's 99% from people with my skin color. But if a white person said those words to me, what would happen? So, here we are. She's talking about another stupid response she made after this situation. But I wanted to put everybody in perspective as to why we're doing this today. This was like my last straw with her. Now, I had not said nothing about her. Even during the Trump ban, nothing. I said, let me leave Sage alone. Because too many people are already giving it to her. There's no need for me to give it to her. Now I have to. Because she continuously has crossed the line. And I need to let people know exactly what's going on with this type of behavior. So, as we go back to the story I was just talking about, when she put out that first response talking about Mike Evans, Miko Evans, his wife, shows up and of course, she's a proud sister and everything else. She took a whole different approach of trolling her and saying your husband wants a white woman, and you're not it. And I mean, so she was really throwing it in her face, jabbing her for voting for Trump. But you brought all that upon yourself. What you're doing is categorizing an incident and thinking everybody who's attacking you on social media just happens to be black. You're just making that observation. So, but I'm not even going to go there. After this, y'all put so much pressure on Mike Evans, he stopped it. He stopped his taking a knee protest because there was so much noise being put down upon him because of it. And you helped start it, and you felt, you fueled the fire. But let's go back a year ago. She put out an article, I think in the Huffington Post, exactly 1 year ago, where she talked about being a biracial woman in sports media. And she talked about how growing up, she never understood race and all of these different things about, I grew up in the military. My mom was an Irish, half-white woman. And all of these things. And what's shocking to me is that she's got a white mother, a black father, and Massachusetts during the 70s when there were civil rights protests, all of these things going on. She wants us to feel her pain as a biracial woman, as if she's the first and only kind there is. It's all about her pain. Listen, this is her quote, and I want y'all to listen to this. My mother is a perfect example, raised by an Irish father and an Italian mother in a small Massachusetts town. She went against her parents' wishes and married a black man she fell in love with. What she dealt with, fresh off the tumultuous civil rights era, was horrific in so many ways, which is one of the many reasons she's the strongest, bravest woman I know. So instead of rolling your eyes at my black father for selling out, shouldn't you be praising my white mother for following her colorblind heart and not succumbing to the pressure of American society back then? Apparently not. How about now, more than 4 decades later, look at the disgust, calling me a sellout when you see pictures of me and my white husband, or see me with my very light-skinned biracial children? Shouldn't you be praising that white boy from Indiana who followed his colorblind heart and married into a biracial culture completely different from his own to help create a beautiful colorblind family? Apparently not. Sadly, the list goes on and on and on. Wow, you are so colorblind that you seem to point out all, nothing but color. That whole thing was nothing but color. I was like, my goodness, how many white, mom, black, dad? It wasn't my dad, my mom, my husband, my kids. It's my white husband, my biracial children. So, from the start, she talks about how we should be praising her Italian mother with the Irish father. And her bravery of marrying a black man in the civil rights era. That poor white woman. Oh my God. The poor white woman. What was she gonna do? Marrying a black man in the 70s. Why we're not that poor black man? I think he had it a little bit rougher than her in that civil rights. I think he showed a little bit more bravery than she did, marrying a white woman in the civil rights movement. I don't think they were going to hang her in certain places. So, but we should, she's the strongest, bravest person. Okay, we get it. All right. Now, we're supposed to praise, and for some reason, this husband of yours, we should be praising a white boy from Indiana who followed his colorblind heart and married into a biracial culture. The bravery of that white man. Notice. That's it. No praise to the father, the black father. No, we just glossed over him. Let's praise white mother, white husband. And if they're so colorblind, why you keep calling them biracial? Why are you giving them labels? You see, I see this all the time. They always harp on things that black people do and point a finger like, look, that black guy threw a rock at that white guy's car. You see? And generalize all black people compared to something negative that a black person does. This happens all the time. And I've seen this behavior most in biracial people. In your own assessment, you've pointed out time and time again that the most racist, that you just said the other day, attacks against you have come from people of your color. That you've never seen racism. You didn't know you were the only black person in your school until your senior year of high school. Because you didn't see color. Your family didn't see color. Well, when you were told that you were denied for a certain position at your job because of your hair, you think a black guy made that decision? Oh, you don't remember that. How they told you, oh, your hair is not, if you did your hair a certain way and made it straight, you might have gotten a job in broadcast. So you made it determined the fact that I'm going to keep my hair like this. And I'm proud of the fact that I'm biracial. But you wanted to identify with black folks first. That's why you cover the NBA. You want to identify with the brothers. Stuart Scott, he was the one that used to mentor you. And Stuart Scott was trying to tell you the pressures of being in this type of situation that he took, because he went through it a lot when he went and divorced his wife and went with a white girl. So you knew what Stuart Scott went through, and you guys had a talk. I'm quite sure he would have stopped you a long time ago. Because, see, you make the same mistake that white America makes. Except for the same thing. One problem. You will never be accepted. No matter what you do. You have made yourself and put yourself in a box to become the sports version of Stacey Dash. And this has nothing. People don't like you because, or hate you because you're biracial. Nobody cares about. Nobody would have even known you had a white mother if you hadn't opened your mouth. You the one keep talking about, I'm mixed and proud. I'm biracial. I'm this and that. You would have just been categorized as a black woman. And what do you think they care? You think anybody at ESPN looks at you as the biracial woman? Or they just say she's black? Stop fooling yourself. Because when ESPN told you that you were going to have to split your show with Michelle Beadle, were you very open about that? I know in your contract you cannot trash another employee, but something really stung, right? Now, the last thing that she brought up, and which led her to be attacked again, is when the Trump ban at the airport caused her to be 7 hours late to where she was going to go. Took her 7 hours to get where she needed to go. Though she wasn't late for anything, it didn't cause any disruption in her plans whatsoever, except it just took her 7 hours to get to her destination. She only saw the pain she experienced out of it. And the other people who were traveling too. And talked about, hey, other immigrants were affected too by this protest. You see, this is what I talk about when people only see things inwards. This normally happens with mostly Caucasian. They can't understand other people's pain. They only can understand the pain that's affecting them. So this is how you end up with this type of conflict. She was born in Panama. You were born in Panama. Panama was the Cape Canal or whatever that was. You were born from over there. And then, to top everything else off, to top it all off, you were mentioning the fact that everyone's blowing me up this morning. I'm a very popular human being. To top it all off, to make it even more suffice. Let's put it that way. To make it more suffice. You didn't have the decency to understand what they were there for. And the disruption was warranted because they've been disrupted. This isn't like people protesting because Donald Trump was the president and they're just marching around. It's because they're unhappy. No, this is a whole different thing altogether with this protest and ban. Most of these people that are out here, they have family members that are stuck in other countries because of this. They have legal visas, but as of today, it's not legal no more because someone felt like it. Now, what happened? Let me see how you would have felt if your Irish, Italian mother got her visa revoked, if she was an immigrant and she was stuck in the middle of travel and couldn't come back to the country. Would you been out there in that line protesting, saying it's unjust? You had women who were married, whose husbands traveled on a travel visa, stuck in other countries. So if your white Indiana husband happened to be an immigrant and he was stuck in another country, when you been out there protesting to try to get him back because he did not break a law? You see, you don't understand situations and you react and you speak out hastily. And then you're categorizing all black people into this bubble. And love to point the finger when black people do something because you're being trolled on social media. Because you feel like it's because your affiliation with Donald Trump, because you're biracial, because you're married to a white guy. They're using anything to throw at you, and it's with hate. I don't hate the fact. We don't care. You're not the first biracial woman to have kids with a white man. So why would we put him on a pedestal and give him an award? Thank you. You've saved this biracial woman. You're so brave to marry into a biracial world. Welcome to a biracial experience. You know, instead of saying my husband was colorblind, he is a white man from Indiana, and he put color aside and he married me because he loved me. You never even stated that. You made it look like he had biracial. You had these 3 biracial kids already. Like, do you want part of this? He probably would have said, well, no, let me think about this. But I wanted to point this out so I could be clear. My disdain for you has nothing to do with your race. It's your actions and your words. And that's why people don't like you. You can be as the color of Barney. They don't care. You don't take a stand for anything, and you stereotype black people the same way white folks do. But you won't be accepted by them. And this is what, by some, I'll just say some, because I don't want to say a lot, less, or whatever, biracial people do. See, biracial people grow up either on one side of the fence or another side of the fence. Majority of them don't grow up with a good mixture of black and white. They grow up either more towards the white side of their family or grow up more towards the black side of their family. Biracial family who happen to be Hispanic and black, or Hispanic or white, same thing. A lot of the times they don't grow up with a balance. They grow up either on one side, we gravitate more to our black side, or we're gravitating more towards the white side. And tell me when white people said, you know, they're biracial, they're not black, they're mixed, they're different. I've never seen that happen, really. You're going to get the same treatment as a Kerry champion on the scene. So until you get over this hatred of yourself, and this stereotyping black people and putting us all in a bowl every time an athlete do something wrong, try looking at when we do something right. How about, where were you when Cooper were calling people the N-words? I don't see you show up when anyone white do something out of character. I don't see your disgust and disdain. I don't hear your voice. I'm not saying you didn't say anything, but I didn't hear it. And you're covering athletes in a sport that's 98% African American. And that's all I got to say about that. I'm out.